Hey, everybody. Welcome back or welcome to my channel. I'm Susan Lynn. I'm a psychic and a medium. Today, we're going to talk about breaking news. But as you know that I do, and if you don't know that and you're new here, well, you're fixing to find out, as we say in Texas. Uh, I want to talk about the bigger energy because honestly, this explains so much of what is happening and so much of what is to come. Right? Like, so who cares if we predict? I mean, we care, right? We care that we predict that certain things are going to happen. But it's really more fascinating, in my opinion, and more helpful to understand the bigger picture about why these things are happening. And now you're going to be empowered with this information. So today, the breaking news is that, well, there's going to be a hostage release of not only two people, but several people that Russia has been holding. The guides are telling me illegally. Now, also, if you're new here, I am channeling this 40% Susan just for spice and 60% spirit guides for accuracy. The spice can be inaccurate. You have been warned. Okay. Now, we all know, I'm sure that you know, that Paul Whelan has been held hostage in Russia. And that's really it. Like, it's not legal. The guides want to say he was a hostage. He wasn't held legally. This was not a legal detainment, is what the spirit guides want to say. So he apparently is coming home. And also, so is Evan Gershkovich, but also Alsu Kermasheva and Vladimir Kara Mursa, but also including even more people, including 16 people, including 5 Germans and 7 Russian citizens who are political prisoners in their own country. And I do think I read somewhere that there could have been even a younger person involved in this. So why now? Right? Like, I mean, come on. As a smart person that I know you are, scratching your head going, no, wait a minute. Biden is supposed to be, ineffectual. He's supposed to be Sleepy Joe. He's supposed to be a nobody, nothing. And yet here he is pulling off probably one of the biggest hostage releases that I think I can remember in a while, that the United States has been involved in anyway. So how is this happening? Why is it happening? Why would Putin all of a sudden say, "Oh yeah, did I detain those people? Oh, let me let them go." Right? Why would he do that? We know that this man, everything he does has an angle. It has a strategy. There's a reason for it. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about the bigger energy that's happening right now, because that is what's going to help you, I think, not only in your personal private life, but it's going to help you understand this bigger energy that's happening in our world, in our political world, and in our country. This is for anybody, anywhere on the planet Earth. You can use this information and this energy. So the bigger energy is that the spirit guides have been talking for quite some time about how our planet is out of tolerance. So again, they want to say that your human body has a tolerance. You cannot get too cold without dying. You cannot get too hot without dying. You can't get too thirsty. You can literally die from drinking too much water. There's a tolerance that we have to stay within to be alive. Okay. What they would say is that our planet has gotten out of that tolerance. We've gone to extremes. Now, the way they describe it is, many times they've described it over the course of a year as Earth is having a loud party and it's keeping all the neighbors up, right? So the Earth tolerance, everything is a vibration. Everything is a vibration. Our Earth has a certain vibrational tone to it. We all know the Earth has its own, the Schumann resonance. Everything has its own vibration. So in as much as our planet is a good neighbor to any other planets, to any other existences, well, that means our vibration needs to stay within the tolerance. And guess what? Our vibration is batshit crazy right now, and we're out of our tolerance. Our vibration is wonky, and that's sending out a vibrational wonkiness to all the other planets, which means that the spiritual popo is going to come and get us back under control. This is what spirit guides have been saying more than a year. They used to describe it like this: spirit was going to come in and put their size 13 spirit boots, male, female, don't matter, on the scales to help us because we're so out of balance with this hateful energy. And we can't quite seem to balance it ourselves. The will is there. The people will for this to happen. If the people of Earth did not want to balance this, then we would just basically kind of perish in a sense, in whatever way that would happen. But it turns out the will of humans is more towards peace, more towards love. And the will of that peace and love is being kind of throttled and controlled and diminished by a smaller number of humans. The minority of humans are controlling the majority of humans. And the majority of humans had no idea that they had the power, that the majority of us want love. The majority of us want peace. The majority of us are not racist, fascist, whatever, fill in the blank. We're actually wanting more oneness. Okay. But we haven't been able to do this on our own. But because the energy is there, we're sending out the message. We want this. We want to vibrate with this. So now our prayers are being answered, and the energy is helping us. Now you're saying to me, Susan, what in the hell does this have to do with Putin? Well, I'll tell you, because when Kamala got the nod to be the president-elect, it's like everything changed overnight, did it not? Like all of a sudden, everybody was happy and joyful, and all these different groups came together and started talking to each other in new ways and really opening up to each other and really sharing, hey, we need white women to do better, right? 50 something plus % of you guys are voting for these idiots. We need you guys to carry the water, right? Like Black women are tired. We're tired of carrying the water, right? So we had this conversation where something was said that's never been said before, and white women heard it and said, yeah, we're sorry. We're sorry. We're going to do better. This is coming back into the tolerance. Do you see what I'm saying now? That spiritual help is helping us. You cannot make it up. The things that 45 is doing to shoot himself in his own foot, which is also something the spirit guide said many, many months ago, but now it's actually happening on the daily, right? He just said recently Kamala wasn't Black and just decided to turn Black. I mean, really? He's saying things that are literally going to tank his, not only his aspirations to be president, but tank his aspirations to just live a normal life in the United States of America without being hated out of, having to run away. So this energy is behind also this Putin energy, because what is happening and how this is going to play out again and again and again, bookmark this video. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but bookmark this video. We'll both watch it unfold and see if I'm reading the energy correctly. But the way I think it's going to unfold is that all these players see the writing on the wall. They see the energy. They see humans waking up. All over the world, humans are protesting. All over the world. In the United States, people, again, are coming together and saying, yeah, we would rather be allies with each other than to be separated, divided by this stupid guy and his stupid ideas. No, thank you. We don't want that. So now people like Putin, and I'm going to just say people like the Supreme Court justices in the United States that are fraudulent, that are on the take, and also Congress people, elected people. This is also going to happen in other countries. You're going to see it. If these people are not of the light, whatever they are, whether they're a major country's leader or a parliamentarian or even some sort of local person who has power, if they're not of the light, the rug is going to be pulled right out from under them. That's what this energy is doing. It's karma, baby. How many years, especially in last year, have I been preaching to you guys that karma is coming? and how interesting that Kamala is coming. It is bigger than her, though. This is why I'm doing this video, because I kept trying to talk to my spirit guides, like, okay, they kept telling me it's not Kamala. it's not her. It's actually bigger than her, but she's connecting to it. She's vibrationally matched to it. So think about a magic carpet being rolled out in front of you, and you vibrationally match that magic carpet, and you can just zoop right on it. That's what's happened here. It's all about this vibrational connection that I do think is karmic. I do think it happened when it was supposed to happen, with her being the one that's going to activate it and connect to it. But it also is bigger than her, because you're going to see this throughout other countries. So why that matters is people like Putin are realizing, okay, I'm betting on a losing horse. As a matter of fact, this person that I'm betting on is such a loser that I might actually go down with them. And I need something to separate myself from this loser and give myself some kind of cachet, some kind of energy that I can now bargain with. Now, this is not going to save Putin in the least. It's not going to save him, but he's trying. The guides are saying it's a desperate move, or a maneuver is what they said. I was trying to understand move or maneuver. It's a desperate maneuver by a desperate man. It's not going to save him, but it's good. Maybe what I'm seeing is it buys him some time. I don't understand that, but they're saying it buys him time. There could have been some. Okay, right. I don't know where this video is going, you guys. I just turned on the video camera and here I am talking to you. Okay, let's briefly talk about Ukraine and Russia, because, well, we're talking about why did Putin release these hostages, and we're talking about the bigger energy. Isn't it interesting? And there goes my dog Zoe. Isn't it interesting that the spirit guide said when Ukraine gets the F-16 fighter jets, it's the end of the war. It's the end. And what was so frustrating to me was I saw them getting the F-16 fighter jets, but I saw this like 6 or 8 months ago. And it's been really frustrating to just sit here and wait for this to happen. Like, I understand these pilots, the Ukrainian pilots, have to get trained in English because our jets are, everything about it is in English, right? Including the training of the use of the jet. So you can't just train a fighter jet pilot in a month or in 2 months. So I get it, but it does seem like many things with Ukraine have been stalled, and it's just super frustrating. But so today it's been announced that they're really getting, like, literally planes on the ground, usable, going to be put into use, planes on the ground, like right now. And now all of a sudden Putin's like, oh, here's your hostages. This is all connected, the spirit guides are saying. This is all connected, along with the energy of this big karmic smackdown energy of, okay, Putin's saying, well, we know Kamala Harris is going to win. We know this. This is, look, they employ more psychics than we've got in the United States. They know what's going on. They try to change it. They find out what the energy is, and then they try to manipulate the energy. And they're very good at that with all of their social media disinformation, right? But they know what the information is. And they know now, like I know, there's no stopping the Kamala train. There's no stopping it. It's a done deal. It's over. You might as well now decide, how am I going to deal with it? Now what you have is 100 days to figure out, how do I deal with the eventuality that's coming? Like, you can see the flood coming. You've got some time to figure out, how do I deal with that? Do I raise my house up? Do I evacuate? Whatever. That's what he's doing. He's really hoping to garner some international, what is that word they're saying? Sympathy. Okay. And another thing I want to say is that Russia, the guides told me a few days ago because there's movement now again on the Russia-Ukraine war. It's finally actually it's been sort of a little bit of a stalemate, and now there's real movement in the energy. And so the guides brought it back to my attention a few days ago, and they told me Russia will be a vassal state, and I had to look that up. And basically it means, I mean, it's a very old term, and I think some of my spirit guides are ancient for real, but it basically means that somebody else controls you. Like, we're gonna have to pay their bills because they can't do anything. So I feel like, and this is, you guys, I did 3 videos on the Ukraine war when the Ukraine war started. 1, 2, 3. You can go back and watch them. Everything I predicted literally has happened. I'm not saying I'm always right in that particular situation. The energy must have been written, or I read it correctly. I don't know what happened, but I'm telling you, everything was correct except for one thing, which was the timing, which was horrible. So in that video, what I said was Russia was going to have an economic collapse, and then they were going to have unrest, and they were going to have, like a lot of the countries are having. The people are mad. The people are upset. The Russian people have a lot to be mad and upset about. They've been lied to. They've lost generation or 2 of their men. It's a terrible situation in Russia right now. And everything has been depleted as I'm in this energy right now. Literally, there's nothing. This is what I thought when I read this energy. I thought this was all going to happen within a year of the beginning of the war. It's taken many years because maybe that's what was going to happen. And like I just described, if Putin can see what's coming, he's got a little bit of time to deal with it. And one of the things that he did was he utilized, this is what my spirit guides are telling me, but I'm pretty sure there was news about this. He utilized, back when he had those militia groups, those 4 higher armies, those hired armies used to do a lot of work in Africa, in the continent of Africa. And they used to do a lot of security control for different despots. And in return, they would be paid in gold or in, some sort of money, valued asset. And that money and black market items, that money would then go to Russia. It's not sanctioned. It's not. And also they're just telling me Bitcoin. It's not tracked. Whatever way Russia was able to get this money, it wasn't able to be tracked and sanctioned. And that's how they avoided this economic collapse for a couple of years. Now, and there were some other things. India played, some other countries played a role, North Korea, obviously. Putin saw the train coming and said, let me prepare. Okay. But now the train that's coming now, sorry about it's dark in here according to my camera, and it doesn't like to focus. But now this train cannot be avoided. So now what he has to do is damage control, is what the spirit guides are saying. So he's going to be leaning heavily on the world, like the UN Security Council, which Russia is a member of, and they shouldn't be a member of. But he's going to be leaning heavily on China and on some of the Middle Eastern states and possibly even India to get him out of this hot water. Okay. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, because let's go back to the bigger energy. The bigger energy is bigger than 45. It's bigger than Putin. It's bigger than Netanyahu. It's bigger than Hamas. It's bigger than them. And we go back to what the guides just said a little bit ago, that if you're not of the light, you are a target. Karma is coming for you. So whatever preparations they want to make to try to soften all of the damage that they've done to our world is not enough. There's not enough apologies. There's not enough hostage releases. I'm glad that he's releasing the hostages, and I think we'll see forward movement also with Israel and with Palestine. But it's too late for some of these leaders that have gone too far. It's too late for them. There's nothing that's going to save them at this time. Their number is punched, is what the spirit guides are saying. And then recently I saw the Israeli is it Mossad? I don't know. It's some Israeli either intelligence or police. It's like an elite. They're calling it an elite brigade of soldiers or whatever they are. I see them escorting Bibi out, escorting Netanyahu out. Like they're going to get rid of him. They're going to escort him out of the office. And then temporarily I do see a guy, but sometimes I see a woman in that office. Now this is fluid. I don't know if this is going to happen this month, this week, today. You already saw how bad I got the timing on the whole Ukraine Russian thing. So I'm not sure when this is going to happen, but the energy feels final. The guides are saying they can no longer run and there's nowhere to hide. And again, I would say to you that they're reminding me that they told me and they told you a while back that humans don't want war. So what we have right now, they're showing me, is how, wasn't it somebody got killed on Iranian soil that was, I think, trying to broker a peace deal or maybe some kind of thing. And this person was killed on Iranian soil. So now the Iranians are mad and the Iranians are threatening to have retribution. But what I would tell you is that we're not going to go to World War III. It doesn't happen. The humans do not want it. I've said this 1,000 times and I'll say it 5,000 more times. The humans do not want World War III. It will not happen. So, and also sadly, you have to take into account, the spirit guides are saying that there's quite a bit of money that's made in wars. So that would be like, if you're weighing the options, right? Like, okay, humans don't want it, but oh, well, we could make a lot of money and we could also control the humans, because when you're at war, people are more controllable because they're in a state of fear. So that's why these, some of these energies, these powerful energies, want war. They make a lot of money and they get to control people. And I think sometimes these wars are actually just, they're not even wars. I mean, that's a sad thing to say, but they're literally decided, like, okay, I'm going to kill your people, you kill my people, and we'll keep everybody under fear and we'll make a lot of money. It's really scary. That's a terrible outlook to have, but that's what they showed me. But you guys, we're going to go back to what we said in the beginning of this video, which is there's millions, trillions more of us than there are of them. And that's what's making these people nervous. They're starting to see that in the past 10 or 20 years, everything's been going their way. Everything has been going their way. Humans have been asleep. Humans have been asleep. Isn't it interesting that they started the whole anti-woke thing? Because they knew we were asleep and they knew we were going to wake up and they knew we were going to see with our own eyes the shenanigans that they've been doing, the violence, the horribleness. And they knew that the humans were going to get out their pitchforks and start demanding parity and demanding peace. So they tried to head it off at the past. Are you guys seeing the connecting dots here? How, okay, they see into the future and they say, okay, this is coming at us. Let's start a disinformation campaign. Let's start a diversion. Let's distract them. This is another thing. They started with this anti-woke thing. And they immediately started, especially in Florida, saying you can't teach anything about slavery. They started banning books. They saw it. They've got psychics. They saw this stuff coming at them. And they said, okay, here's how we're going to deal with this. We're going to create some distractions over here. And then over here, we're going to create these angry mobs of people that are going to act like local controlling groups, that would be the MAGAs in the United States, that are banning books, that are talking about don't be woke, because now we're woke and we're not going back to sleep. All the different pieces have come together to form this incredible energy. And I mean all of the pieces, I mean all of the people the leaders, the right people, the right leaders, the right time, everything. This is it. This is like when you birth the baby. This is like when the seed pops out of the soil. This is it. This is the beginning of this new energy. Now, you could also say that it's connected to Pluto and Aquarius. I'm not an astrologer, but I have them on my channel enough that I talk about it enough to sound like I know what I'm doing, but I don't. Pluto was in Capricorn, which is very top down. It can, every sign has its high and its low, just like every human has a shadow side and has a high and a low. But the low side of Capricorn is kind of where we've been living. We've been, these people that understood energy, they understood that, hey, we can use this dark side of this energy to make a lot of money and control people from the top down. And that's what they've been doing. So the energy flipped out of that Capricorn energy into Aquarius energy, which has its own high and low. But one of the highs is power to the people, you might say. And then we started having, 45 getting convicted. We started having all those, trials in that period came through and bam, bam, bam. Well, guess what? We had it flip back. It went back into Capricorn, and here we are back into Capricorn with a surge again, right? With the Supreme Court and all their terrible rulings. That's very, to me, indicative of this Capricornian on the low energy, the low side of Capricorn. That's indicative of that energy. But guess what? Pretty soon, and certainly in 25, for 30 years, we're going to have that Pluto's going to go into Aquarius. So guess what, you guys? This energy isn't going anywhere. This power to the people, this woke mind or the hive mind, meaning the one consciousness. Thank you, Spirit. This is what they had said to me. And I've been trying to get those words out during this video, but it's one consciousness. This is where we're going, is one consciousness. That's why so many of you guys literally felt it in your body when Biden stepped down, because you were empathically connected to his sorrow, to his sadness, to his pain. We are empathically connected to those people that get attacked or have horrible things happen to them. This is going to be personified. This is going to be made bigger and exaggerated as we go into 25. So another thing is, we're not going to put up with it, because we're going to be like, no, I don't want to feel that. I want everybody to be taken care of. And that also means, again, this is all the big energy. It also means that all of a sudden you're going to be looking at your own community differently. You're going to be looking at your library and going, you know what? I think that library should be funded more. You're going to be looking at the food pantry. You're going to be looking at the animal shelter. You're going to be looking at services for veterans, for foster kids, for the LGBTQ, for minorities of any kind, any sort of underrepresented group, be it human or not. That is where you're going to find yourself focusing your energy, because it's about that empathic energy, and we're going to want to help more people. This is beautiful to me, because this is going to fuel this beautiful new energy of democracy. We're going to have more social services, not less, more. We're going to have more parity. They keep wanting to say parity amongst the classes or amongst our people. And that's beautiful. And that energy, you might imagine, has no room for a Donald Trump or a Putin or a Netanyahu or a Hamas or dictators like Erdogan or anybody. That energy, if you fill the container with beautiful energy, it's full of beautiful energy. There's these scoundrels cannot be in our energy. They said this earlier, but they're saying it in a different way. They're not going to be able to be in our energy. We're just We're not going to tolerate it. And that goes again, they're showing me even in your local community, if you have a bad cop or you have a bad judge or you have a bad mayor, by bad, I mean crooked or on the take or something, they're going to be exposed and they're going to be out. And I don't care if you're blue or red, never have cared. If you're a crook, you're out. I don't care if you're a Democrat or you're a Republican. I don't care. So that's the energy. So hopefully that explains to you why the energy is, why these people are doing things that seem seemingly like, why would they do this? Again, let's talk about Supreme Court. Same thing. This, the energy is pretty, so it's a reverse situation where I think in the past we were the frogs in the boiling water and the water kept getting hotter and hotter and hotter and we were just adjusting to it. Well, guess what? Now they're in the boiling water and they're not going to adjust to it. They're going to jump out because their water is getting hot much faster. So even before Kamala gets to be president, I think you might see at least one SCOTUS step down. And then after she's president, I think you're going to see one or two more step down. It's just the energy. They're just showing me the energy is exactly like Putin. You see it coming. You can see the train coming right for you. And you're like, okay, all these things I tried to do, releasing the hostages, whatnot, hasn't worked. I need to run. I need to step down. I need to flee. Because nothing is working. And especially what they just showed me was even violence isn't going to work. So one of the options at Putin's disposal might be violence. It's not working. It's not going to work. The energy is changed. Now you're going to see NATO get involved. Everything is changing and it's changing for the better. And how you're going to see it is by these bad actors acting out of the ordinary. That's how you're going to see it. Now, the last thing is the last frontier, which I'm going to talk about, but it doesn't bear talking about is what the spirit guides are going to say. But I'm going to talk about it because I know that we're all worried about it. The last frontier is 45 is trying to make it so that when we go to vote, that those things don't count and that they're challenged in the system, in the justice system. I'm going to try to skip over some words here. He's going to find a way to get back in through the Supreme Court, but it's not going to happen because I just told you guys that they see the writing on the wall. There's a new sheriff in town and her name is Kamala Harris. And they don't want to tangle with that. They would rather step down than end up in jail because she's a prosecutor and she will put you in jail. So, I mean, not directly, but that is her energy, and she will get a new DOJ. She will get a new, she'll direct the DOJ. You know, she'll say, this is what I want done. And they will investigate. And if there's something to be had, if there's something somebody's done, they will literally indict them, which if you haven't noticed in the past has not happened. Everybody's gotten, or not everybody, but these bad actors have gotten chance after chance after chance after chance from the DOJ. Well, I think there's going to be a little bit of a house cleaning. And again, these people see it coming. They see the writing on the wall. They're not dummies. They see it. And they're going to get out before it hits them. So for that reason, even though last night I was on Kevin's channel and I saw exactly what he saw, which is the potential of our election not being finalized in January and potentially Biden having to stay in office beyond that date. And I've talked to you guys a lot about how the lesson for the United States is that Biden has to take his power. We've talked ad nauseum about bullies and bully energy. Well, this is one of his lessons. And he is standing up to the bully today by getting these hostages free. But potentially, he may have to stand up to the bully, 45, by staying in office while the VOTE goes through the court system and is challenged. And how can he do that? A state of emergency. There have been presidents that have stayed in for an extra term, and this wouldn't even be an extra term. Believe me, he's immune. They gave him They gave him all the power he needs. He can do this. So even though I saw that, and we both saw, and I haven't said this on a video because I don't want to freak people out. And I wanted to check the energy for a while because it's still so far out. But I saw again, maybe till March, that this court thing doesn't get settled. Okay. And that was last night. But last night I also got this download while I was talking to Kevin that this energy of Kamala Harris, because we all know that 45 and his ilk are trying to do this, we already know they're planning this. It's somehow we've released the air out of it. I think it's even possible that it doesn't happen, because of this energy. It doesn't have to happen anymore. We've met the challenge. We've learned the lesson. We've said, we're awake. We're seeing your scheme. And now we're going to deal with your scheme before you can even hatch it. You know, it's like meeting a robber in the front yard and saying, don't go in there. I see you. I see you're trying to break into my house. I'm telling you, don't break into my house because I already see you and you're going to end up, meeting the bad end of something. It's the energy of being woke. It's the energy of saying, oh, I see what's happening. They're not going to pull it now. If they do pull it, it's going to be disastrous, is what the guides are saying. So even though even a week ago, I would have said, and I've done a post on my channel that said as much, that the VOTE or the transition might be delayed. Now I think this energy could collapse and not be needed, which is amazing to me. I've never seen us jump timelines so fast than right now. It's like we're saying, oh, I see it. Next. Oh, I see it. Next. Like we're literally just hurtling over all of these lessons and all of these timelines because everything came in together. All the energy points came in together. People woke up. We had this great candidate. We had Biden step down. We had all these things come together at exactly the right moment to ignite one consciousness. So what I would suggest is in your own life, this is happening in your own life. And you might be like, Susan, I'm too tired to do the laundry. Forget one consciousness. Forget, which is cool. I get it. But in your own life, you have this same spark. If there's something that you've been thinking about doing, or if you get energy, like all of a sudden you say to yourself, wow, I feel like I have energy to start working out. I have energy to expand my skill set so that I can maybe change my jobs. I have energy to start a hobby. I have energy to deepen my awareness of something. Do it, because this kind of energy is like spirit is giving you a boost, a huge boost. Think about this wall in front of you and you're like, I don't know how to get over this wall. I've been sitting here, standing here, and spirit says, here, let me link my hands together. You step in and they go boom, and you just shoot through the air, right? It's the same energy. This is very much manifestation energy. At the same time, please hear me when I say, be careful what you wish for. If you've been wishing for a relationship and you haven't done the work to understand why your past relationships have been, not to your liking, you could really manifest something that you don't want. You're the one manifesting it. Spirit is saying, oh, you went over the wall? Here, I'll help you. And you get over the wall and you realize it's like a den of tigers. And you're like, what the heck? Why did I do this? Right? So now's a good time to just spend some time with yourself. Check in. What do I want? What would be good for me? What is missing in my life? What would I like to have a little bit more of? Just gently probe and ask these questions. What makes me happy? What makes me unhappy? Write it down on a piece of paper and walk away from it. You don't have to solve these problems today, but the awareness, the simple awareness, which is woke. We're not going to be sleepwalking. If you're sleepwalking through your life, with this manifestation energy, you might get boosted into a situation that you don't necessarily like, at which point you will wake up. But as we are waking up, it's a good time to just take stock and say, wow, okay, I'm starting to see things more clearly. I don't like this, whatever this is. Then the next thing is ask for assistance, and then let it be and wait for the assistance. Wait for several signs, several, like 3. I always say 3. Don't just get one sign and then say, that's it. I'm supposed to have an alpaca farm. I'm going to move and have my alpacas. Maybe wait for 3 signs before you do something radical. Okay. Hopefully this has been helpful, made sense. I don't know. I am going to do a video with your questions. It'll be out tomorrow, which is Friday. So look for that. I am going to get to your questions, but I just wanted to talk about this because today was the hostage release. And it just, I woke up, right? It became clear to me a little bit more of this bigger energy became clear to me. And just keep tracking your own life. Oh, I feel like I'm waking up in this sense. Oh, how interesting. I'm waking up to this new idea. I'm waking up to this new part of myself. Just keep tracking your own life, how you are waking up too, because the reason we're here is because all of us are little pinpoints of light that sent the message out to the universe that we don't want war, that we don't want bad actors, that we don't want inequality. We don't want that anymore. That's the reason why these things are being fixed. So it's really important what you think. It's really important that you show up for yourself, because when you show up for yourself, you're sending that beautiful light out into the universe. And that's how we fix this place, this whole planet, how we get it to go towards one consciousness. It's not going to ever be, I always tell you guys, it's never going to be nirvana. Check your ticket. You went to the wrong planet. This is a learning planet. It's always going to have challenges. But through our challenges, we're elevating our game. Okay? We really are. Look at the history. We went through the Holocaust. We had Holocaust energy right now, but we didn't experience the Holocaust. We just experienced similar energies to it. We had kids in cages. We had a leader who talked about people being animals. That's Holocaust energy, right? We did have anti-Semitism. That's Holocaust energy, but we didn't do it. We have learned from our mistakes. We really have. Whenever you feel down and out that we're just losing or not learning from our mistakes, just do a little stroll through history. We're not barbarians. We're not great, but we're not barbarians. Okay? We are getting better, and we will continue to get better. Okay? Take really good care of yourselves. I'll see you again real soon. For entertainment purposes only.